Guys, and welcome back to the channel with another video. Today's topic of discussion is a big one that I think everybody was looking forward to, including myself. Imperialistic Japan. In the years leading up to and during World War II, Japan's rise to great power status was rapid, with victorious wars over China in 1895 and Russia in 1905. Later, Japan started their expansion with their invasion of China in 1937. The Empire of Japan stretched throughout Southeast Asia and the Pacific, for thousands of miles in all directions. The country formally entered World War II on September 22nd of 1940 with their invasion of French Indochina. At the outbreak of World War II, Japan's population approximately had 72 million people in a country the size of California. Now we're going to listen to some clips from Man and Shane's Secret podcast discussing Japan during World War II. As always, all of their socials and their podcast, Man and Shane's Secret podcast, are linked down below, so definitely go check that out. Now without further ado, let's get to it.
If you know anything about history, the Philippines in 1941, not a great place to be. Tonelli hoped to fulfill his one-year commitment to the army and then return back home to his new wife, Mary, and the Cardinals by the 1942 season. So in his mind, he was like, all right, I'm just going back. Yeah. 1 year, serve, come back to the NFL. Now, that all changed, Matt. December 8th, 1941, when Tonelli was roused from his bunk near Clark Field by an air raid siren. At 0230 hours, a frantic trans-Pacific message had crackled over the airwaves. Air raid on Pearl Harbor. This is no drill. Now, a lot of you are sitting there saying, Shane, December 8th, 1941? You mean December 7th? He was in the Philippines. Yeah. Come on, man.
Of course. I was about to jump up your ass.
Yeah. Now, it's the Pearl Harbor shit gets me fired up, dude. I like it. I was watching documentaries on it. It's like just the way like Churchill reacted and shit. Mm-hmm. He was like,
he must have been like, yes.
Dude, he was so stoked.
Really?
Also, I know you guys like a little conspiracy that 3 of the aircraft carriers were not in harbor at Pearl Harbor. Those were the ships you actually needed.
Where were they?
They just happened to be out that day when we got hit.
Really?
Yeah, boy.
On December 7th of 1941, the Japanese military launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. The attack killed 2,403 U.S. military servicemen and wounded 1,178 more. The attack sank or destroyed 6 U.S. Navy ships. They also destroyed 169 U.S. planes. This attack led to the United States entering into World War II on the Allies' side, and directly correlated with the Allies eventually winning the war.
It's almost like someone... Now, they did know the Japanese were going to come at us.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese were ticked.
Yeah.
Because Japanese they were expanding like crazy. Mm-hmm. They'd gone into China. We talked about the rape of Nanking.
Yeah.
That was like 1937. They had taken... At this point, Japan controlled like Korea, all of Korea, Manchuria... into China. They took Indochina, I believe is what isn't that what Vietnam is called?
That's probably Sounds like Indonesia and all that stuff.
So they took.
How many people did Japan have?
I don't know.
How do you cover all that
from
space?
Japan?
Land of the gods,
dude.
Guards. What? Yeah. Land of the gods.
Well, the way they did it was brutal. That's how they kept people in order. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these countries were already under, like they had taken. Japanese took Korea in, I think, like 1905 in the Russo-Japanese War.
Yeah.
Which also started, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Oddly enough, the Russo-Japanese War started with a surprise attack on Russia's navy.
Really?
A little foreshadowing. A little trick that they like.
So the Chinese, they like to kind of sneak attack
the Japanese.
The Japanese
snuck attack the Ruskies. With a little they like to start wars by eliminating the other side's navy, which is a sick move.
But isn't it just one base? Isn't there like multiple? Or they just take a nice big chunk?
Not in wartime. Like that was the Asiatic. That was our entire Pacific fleet, just about.
Yeah.
So they fucked us up bad in Pearl Harbor.
Damn.
Like that was the fact that those 3 aircraft carriers weren't there, really helped.
Yeah.
The United States was going to win that war regardless. I believe as a historian. But. Really, hastened the victory.
So why did the kamikaze? Why don't they just drop bombs?
I
mean, it's kind of a mind fuck.
I think
I think they had production problems. Like, I think they were, like, running out of
kamikazes,
and
I
stuff.
believe.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't think they were kamikazes at Pearl Harbor.
Really? I don't think so. I think that was, like,
Kamikaze
later.
was...
I just assumed. Excuse me.
That's all right. You've come a long way. I remember Pearl Harbor. You thought it was like biplanes and shit. This is good. And there could have been. I mean, the Japanese did a lot of, like, psychological warfare where they would just, like, they had bonsai charges, which would be just everybody run at the other side. They would all die. They never worked.
Jeez.
Everybody would just kill themselves. And it was so bad that, like, it bothered the guys shooting them.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, this is bad. We're in a bad place. These people don't care at all. And that was, like, the mystique they tried to build up for their own army. Was like, we're fucking nuts, dude.
Damn.
Like, we are nuts. We're all ready to die.
I wonder how many personnel they lost doing
bonsai charges?
just doing stuff like that.
So I was listening to Hardcore History, that fucking
like
Supernova in the East. He has a bunch on it, and it's like he was talking about how you can look up aftermaths of bonsai charges pictures, and it's nuts, dude. It's just hundreds of dudes just laying there that they all tried to charge.
Could they have, like, almost won if they didn't do that? Like,
no,
is it?
They had no shot, and they knew they.
It's
had
like
no
when they
shot.
tell you to stop buying, like, Starbucks every morning. It's like, that's where you're losing your money.
yeah. It's like, no, that's not. It's because I don't have a job. No, it was the Japanese knew, a lot of their, like, higher ups knew they couldn't fuck with the United States because a lot of them studied in the United States. They saw what we had. They saw, like, the amount of people, the amount of land, all the farm. Like, they were like, if this war machine gets moving, we have no shot. Yeah. So, like, a lot of the higher ups were like, don't try to fuck with the United States. And they went with it anyway.
It was said that before Pearl Harbor happened, there was some doubt about attacking the United States and whether it would be a wise strategic move. The Japanese leadership developed a plan in an echo chamber where only true believers were allowed to participate. All others who expressed doubt or disagreed were filtered out and removed from leadership positions in the civilian and military government institutions. The plan was to attack the US Navy so hard that it would take them 6 to 18 months to fully recover. By that time, Japan would have taken over Southeast Asia completely and set up a strong defensive blockade. Therefore, basically making it impossible for US forces to successfully attack according to their calculations.
What was Japan's whole thing? Like, why did they team up with the Nazis? Did they team up with the Nazis?
They did team up with the Nazis, which actually allowed them to get Vietnam from the French in 1940. So when the French left, Japan was like, that's ours. And because they were allied with the Germans, the French had to be like, okay, and sign it over to them. So they joined with, they were just good allies to have, especially with Russia. With Russia, that way Germany, they were ready for war with Russia, and they wanted to have Russia have two fronts as well. So Japan, that worked out for them.
I didn't really think about that a lot, how they were all on, like, the Nazis team.
Yeah. That was a bad team.
Yeah, dude, that was a tough.
It was them, Mussolini, the Italians, dude.
Yeah.
And then the Italians turned on the Germans.
I bet early, though, classic collective backstab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, it's not going very well. Let's switch. Those other guys are winning pretty good.
Who would have thought this podcast would be more racist to Italians than Japanese? Just wait. We'll get there.
Oh, man. I didn't know they switched like that.
Yeah.
So they were like, you know what?
Towards the end of the war, the Italians...
This is messed up, guys.
They're like, I think we're doing it bad, dude. We got to switch. Maybe we were wrong.
That's such a sick move. Just to be like, wait a second here.
Yeah. Well, they flipped right when, like, the war in North Africa ended. Or, like, when the Allies started to win in North Africa and started to invade southern Italy, they were like, hold on. We're on your guys' team. Yeah, we got to get these sons of bitches.
They called a timeout. They're like, timeout.
Yeah.
Timeout.
They're like, wait, what's going on? Who the fuck are these German motherfuckers?
What? We thought we were on your side the whole time.
The Axis powers, originally called the Rome-Berlin Axis, was a military coalition that initiated World War II and fought against the Allies. Its principal members were Nazi Germany, the Kingdom of Italy, and the Empire of Japan. With Nazi Germany mainly fighting in Europe, Italy under Mussolini fighting in North Africa, and Japan fighting in Asia.
That was awesome.
Churchill, when that I couldn't find it, but I could have sworn he sent like a cigar to the king. I could be wrong, but he was fucking stoked when the U.S. As soon as the U.S. got bombed, Churchill was like, "Yes, dude, we won." In fact, that night, in his own words, written in A History of World War II, Churchill said that night he went to bed and slept the sleep of the saved. Pretty tight. Everything Churchill says rules.
Yeah, he does talk fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Slept the sleep of the saved.
Whoa.
I'm part of me, man.
Sorry.
I apologize. He brought up slaves.
He just came down from New England. I think they still...
That's a much different sleep, I would imagine.
Of the saved?
And the saved versus the slaved.
So... Yeah, that's a rough sleep.
This one letter changes everything.
Yeah. So the Japanese, at this point, I mean, right when Pearl Harbor happened, they expanded everywhere. But like I said, they were already in China. They were in China. They had Korea. They had Manchuria. They were expanding quite a bit. Also interesting, the Japanese were very interested in biological weapons, and they were mostly trying them out on China, including they dropped ceramic bombs filled with bubonic plague.
Oh.
They tested typhus and other diseases on approximately 1,000 different Chinese villages.
Damn.
So they were just in there just...
Ceramic bombs?
I think it was a ceramic thing filled with bubonic plague.
Do they make like a little imperfection? Isn't that like a Japanese way?
Yeah, I think they patched the imperfection back up, and then they like put like gold stuff.
Ceramics and balloons were used as biological bombs on Chinese civilians and prisoners of war by a Japanese chemical warfare unit. These bombs held bubonic plague carrier fleas. Each plane could carry 10 ceramic bombs containing around 5,000 fleas, which could kill a large number of domestic animals within 1 to 2 hours. The Japanese also used hot air balloons to distribute plague carrier fleas.
So our boy is sleeping.
Mario's...
He wakes up.
Keep in mind also, the Japanese are not great. 1937 rape of Nanking, we talked about that. 350,000 approximately were massacred in that.
Oh, that's a lot.
Right after Pearl Harbor, they expanded by attacking British colonies in Burma and Malaya, as well as Dutch-controlled Sumatra. So they attacked Burma and Malaya right away to get the rubber that those places had, and then they got Sumatra from the Dutch for the oil. And in Malaya, it was kind of a precursor. That's where like the bridge, River Kwai.
Yeah, bridge over the River Kwai.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a precursor to what happens to old Mario, but they did the same thing. They took Malaya, just destroyed all the British prisoners. They really didn't take prisoners. The Japanese, like if you surrendered, you were nothing.
Damn.
You were lower than life. They hated it.
So they would just like kind of like throw you in a pit or something?
Yeah, a lot of I mean, they did everything that you can imagine.
Damn.
It sucked. And this is the thing. Carlin was saying that the reason, so they would like torture the fuck out of whoever they got. If they captured you, they would torture you. They'd cut your dick off, put it in your mouth. Scariest shit possible. And he said one of the reasons they did that was to ensure that their own troops never surrendered, because they knew they would get tortured for what they did. So it was like top-down order. You guys got to torture whoever the fuck you get, and just make sure no one's fucking surrendering. Like, make sure this is a war of just the worst shit possible.
Fuck. God.
Yeah, Japanese, not very good.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
Unit 731 was a Japanese research program during World War II that conducted horrific experiments. This included infecting subjects with the plague, giving subjects frostbite, and cutting people apart while alive and unsedated. The Japanese also used many forms of physical punishment. Some prisoners were made to hold a heavy stone above their head for hours. Others might be forced into small cells with little food or water.
So right away, after Pearl Harbor, they also attacked other places on that day. They bombed just about every Allied airstrip in the Pacific. So they knocked out all of the airplanes and all of the Navy in the Pacific.
Damn.
In like a day. Which limited General MacArthur's plan. He wanted to defend the Philippines by defending the beaches. So not letting them get on land, kind of like Saving Private Ryan, like set up shit on the beach. But they couldn't do that because without naval support or air, they couldn't be out in the open. They'd just get crushed. They couldn't do anything without planes and shit. So instead, they'd be forced to kind of slowly retreat within the Philippines once the Japanese got there and tried to, make it as hard as possible, which was the WPO3 plan. Just for those people out there. Yeah.
What does that stand
I forget.
for? I saw that on
Yeah.
Wikipedia too. In my quick research.
That's gotta suck, dude. To start off a war with a hard, like your whole naval front just fucked up.
Yeah, and you're on an island. So that's another thing. Like with island hopping, which is what the U.S. would do they figured out island hopping. That's kind of what it's called, where you just pick which island you want to attack. So the Japanese, towards the end of the war, they knew they were losing, and they would try to set up like massive defensive fortresses on these islands. Mm-hmm. And the U.S. was just like, no, we're not going to attack that. We'll just wait. You'll run out of food. We control the sea and the air. You can't get food on the island. So that's kind of all these islands result like they kind of end up being prison colonies on their own. Like you're just stuck on this island with 100,000 other guys and no food.
Oh.
Yeah. And the Japanese wouldn't surrender. So they would just starve to death and then kill themselves. It was fucking wild.
Oh my God.
I mean, listen to Carlin's Supernova of the East. It talks about like just the way they fought was just like they would use snipers that would they were all suicide missions. Like they weren't like our snipers. Mm-hmm. They weren't like Chris Kyle's, dude.
Of course.
They weren't American heroes. These were dudes that would just hide and wait with a machine gun. And if people walk by, they would just fucking shoot as many as they could and then die.
WPO3 stands for War Plan Orange 3. The goal of WPO3 was to delay the invading enemy forces until the US Navy could gather together its Pacific Fleet and sail to the Philippines. But the US Navy fleet was at the bottom of Pearl Harbor. The US island hopping strategy targeted key islands to capture and equip with airstrips, bringing B-29 bombers within range of the enemy homeland, while hopping over strongly defended islands, cutting off supply lanes. Though successful, this type of warfare was very costly and took a long time.
So MacArthur, I can't tell if he rules. A lot of people hate on the boy.
Really?
No, I think pretty sure he ruled.
I can't tell.
I think he's like a lot of guys. He like fucking ruled. Like Churchill ruled.
True.
And then I think like after the war is over, it's like, dude, you gotta chill.
Yeah, that was all the generals. Like Patton, allegedly they killed Patton. I don't know. Yeah, all these guys had weird because they were all. This is back. It's still the 40s.
Yeah,
like a general can technically take over the country.
That makes sense to me. I'd kill him too. I mean, you can't. If a guy wins World War II, is the guy that leads
Eisenhower, and then he becomes president.
Yeah,
true.
But he seemed pretty relaxed. Eisenhower of
all those guys. MacArthur was pretty nuts. MacArthur would carry like a baton. He always had like a corncob pipe type thing. He had that hat. You remember that hat he wore? That's a Filipino hat. That was the hat they gave the leader of their military. So he wore it because he was in charge of the Filipino forces. We owned the Philippines. That was a U.S. colony, and we had just I believe they were like independent for like 10 years. The U.S. gave them their independence in like 35, I think. I could be wrong, but
have they been independent since then, or
they're independent now?
Yeah. Philippines are fucked up. I was watching some.
Well, the Philippines are fucked up now, but dude, Philippines rules.
Filipinos
rule,
dude.
So December 7th was Pearl Harbor. By December 22nd, General Homa, General fucking Homo, dude. Japanese General Masaharu Homo. Also, I'm going to do this like the Irishman. Hung to death in 1945. You ever see The Irishman?
Yeah.
Whenever they introduce characters, they show you how they die. It's like pipe bomb to the face. General Hama hung to death in 1945.
Damn.
By the Japanese?
By the U.S. for his dirty deeds. So everything this dickhead's doing right now, he's going to get hung for in like 3 years.
Damn, I didn't realize we were still hanging people then.
We were hanging people. We hung Saddam.
No, we didn't do that.
Oh, we turned a blow. We were like, all right, boys. I think Hama got
your
hung.
Culture?
I think he got hung in the Philippines.
You want to topple a wall onto
that dude got hung in the Philippines?
Yeah. They brought him back to the Philippines, and they're like, all right, remember these guys?
Oh,
they're your jury. So they landed on December 22nd. The Allies actually held out until April 9th. So they held out for months. And this was a U.S. and Filipino force, mostly Filipino. Yeah. And also the Philippines Army was 5 years old. They just, You ever see footage of like us trying to train like Iraqi dudes that can't do jumping jacks?
Yeah.
They literally did. So that was the army. This is a new army, and the U.S. the soldiers had never fought.
Jeez.
And they had faulty equipment. All their helmets were from all their shit was from like World War One.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there's no Navy and Air Force, so they're not getting resupplied.
It's like militarizing like Uber drivers.
Absolutely.
And they're all in like play it again equipment.
Yeah, it's 100,000 Uber drivers on an island, and they're going up against the Japanese who have been at war forever.
Yeah.
These are all like hardened psychos against Uber drivers, and the Uber drivers hold out pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They just tell them like boring, sad stories. Yeah, well, it hurt my back. You know, you can only work 20 hours a week.
How about that MacArthur, huh? It's like, all right, man. I don't want to talk MacArthur.
In World War II, General Douglas MacArthur commanded Allied forces in the Asia Pacific. U.S. Army forces in the Far East had held out for 4 months against the Imperial Japanese Army, while every other island and nation in the Pacific and Southeast Asia fell to the Japanese Army. General MacArthur is one of the few individuals in history to receive a 5-star rank. He notably served in World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. He is the recipient of the Medal of Honor and 17 other medals. General George Patton in World War II led armies from North Africa to Sicily to the continent of Europe. It was said that he often led from the front. He was also said to be a bit of a hothead. This can be seen in an incident where he was disciplined for slapping a soldier who he saw as a coward for having battle fatigue. General Patton was the most feared general in World War II. There are some conspiracy theories about his death following a motorcycle accident, saying his death was no accident.
So Mario's on this island.
Mario's on the island, dude.
Damn,
Super
dude.
Mario's fucking. He's having a tough go, dude. This shit sucks. And again, the Japanese are so they retreat to the Bataan Peninsula, which controls like the Manila Bay, and holding that, trying to keep the Japanese Navy out of the bay is important. There's a small island off that peninsula called Corregidor, which is where MacArthur eventually is. He's like there, and it still sucks. Like you're in bunkers, just getting bombed all day.
Yeah.
There's no stopping there's no one stopping airplanes from bombing you. So it's just whenever they want. But Hama is under pressure to take this island. Like he has to get it because everybody else in Malaya, in Sumatra, all that, easy. Everybody won. He's the general that's like having a tough time with these soldiers. So a lot of his guys were like, just wait like another month and they have to quit. Like you don't even have to attack them. They have no food. But he felt pressure to keep attacking. At one point he passed out. He fainted under pressure.
Really?
He's like, he fucking passed out under like all the stress of the battle.
Really?
Yeah. It was a negative experience. Also, this was interesting. Something I saw this in one video about Mario. Something like 1 or 2 in every 25 grenades they had worked. Nothing worked.
What?
All their ammo and shit was garbage.
The Japanese?
No, the U.S.
Oh, really?
Japanese were a war machine at this point. We just started.
So they would toss a nade and it had a 50% chance of going off?
Fucking 10%.
What?
And just throw it and be like, hope that, or it just hits somebody and like, oh, But again, this is the worst place ever. This is like intense jungle fighting. Yeah.
Oh!
This is intense jungle fighting. This is Bataan has 2 volcanoes on it in a very small. It's not big. Like this peninsula is like pretty small.
Masaharu Oma was a lieutenant general in the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. Oma commanded the Japanese 14th Army, which invaded the Philippines and perpetrated the Bataan Death March. After the war, Hama was convicted for the actions of his troops rather than for directly ordering atrocities. On April 3, 1946, Lieutenant General Masaharu Oma was executed.
It just blows. There were cool things that happened, including the charge of the 26th Cavalry, which was the final U.S. cavalry charge.
That's horses.
Really?
Yeah.
Horses. There was a horse charge in this.
The U.S. charged?
The U.S., so a bunch of the Japanese were crossing this river into a village where I'm sure they were going to fucking cut everyone apart.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have anything. There was a scout. It was the Philippine scout. These horses and they saw these guys trying to cross the river into this village, and they just charged into this village with fucking revolvers.
That's awesome.
On horses. Yeah, it was sick. Unfortunately, eventually the 26th Cavalry ate all their horses. So it does have a pretty sad ending.
How long after the charge did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
Months later? They just went into the woods with their horses?
sure they went through horses pretty quick. I'm sure they went.
I don't know.
They munched those horses.
How long does it take to eat a horse?
I mean, there's 100,000 people.
Oh, shit.
That's nothing.
So
that's like one.
People are just everything they could eat. There was stories of this guy who, like, when the bombs would go off and they were in their foxholes, animals would hide in the foxholes with them, and they would just grab them and munch them. And they were monkeys. And they were baby monkeys, and the guy said they looked exactly like humans. And even when he was starving, he couldn't eat them because they looked like babies. But yeah, like at night there'd be explosions, so the animals would hide with you, and dudes would just grab them and be like, just munching like.
God.
Dude, you can't even. I'm telling you, this shit. I don't know. I was listening to this, just like, whoa, dude. How does anybody live this?
Yeah, well, how do you come back from that and then have someone be like, yeah, you like filled out this form wrong?
Like,
what are you talking? I had to eat a baby monkey.
Yeah, I ate a monkey. I ate a monkey alive during bombs. I was that hungry. While bombs were going off, I was like, this is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, let me catch a quick snack.
So on April 9th, they had to surrender. They surrendered. And this was, I believe, General Wainwright's call. MacArthur was like, don't surrender. Mm-hmm. MacArthur kept telling him, like, don't worry. He hated the Navy.
Yeah.
There was a weird rivalry between the Army and Navy back then that was like, it was real.
That's when you got to cut that out, dude. Like, I hate the Navy.
He was like, the Navy's being pussies right now. Although, in his defense, he was like, stop being pussies. We need help. But everybody told them, don't try to defend the Philippines. Like, everybody told MacArthur, like, you can't defend the Philippines.
Yeah.
And that was even when we had a Navy and Air Force. They were like, we're never going to be able to get supplies there. It's so close to Japan. We can't resupply you.
Despite insufficient supplies, American and Filipino troops were able to fight for 3 months in the Battle of Bataan. The Battle of Bataan ended on April 9, 1942, when the U.S. forces surrendered to the Japanese General Homma. After surrendering to Japanese troops, they were forced into the Bataan Death March, where some of the most horrific war crimes were committed by the Japanese.
Anyway.
So yeah, they basically like let that happen.
So yeah.
But MacArthur was like, that's pussy stuff. Right?
MacArthur was like, that's defeatist.
Yeah.
Those were his exact words, which is why he wanted. That's what he felt about that WPO3 plan or whatever that was.
Yeah.
That's defeatist. Although it could have maybe worked long enough. They might have held out until the Navy could get there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
As a historian, I'm not sure. It's up in the air for me.
The little blurb that I read was like, he was like, this is bullshit. It's defeatist. We got to be more aggressive. And the Japanese kind of fucked him up real quick. And he's like, all right, back to WPO3.
Oh yeah, right away. So yeah, the Japanese just kind of marched them back. Although the Japanese did have to like stop and like, so they were taking some hits. It wasn't like we gave them what for. The Uber drivers gave them fucking what for, dude. So at this point, Mario is on the southern tip of the peninsula when the surrender is issued. He's at a place called Mariveles. It's the southern point of the peninsula. So that's the beginning of what is called the Bataan Death March. So all these people surrendered. It's like 60,000 soldiers, 70,000 soldiers, and then a ton of civilians. All these Filipinos on the island were trying to run with the troops. So that also, like, I mean, thousands of civilians.
Jesus.
So that's also, there's no food. And these people haven't eaten in months already. And now they're being handed over to the Japanese, who don't respect prisoners at all. Like, have disdain for them. And didn't give them food or water. And they were then forced to march 60 to 70 miles to Fort O'Donnell. Now, the march is, like, considered one of the bigger atrocities to ever happen to the U.S., and it was like it took 6 days. Anywhere from 5 to 18,000 Filipinos died on the march. Only around 500 to 650 U.S. soldiers died. They took it a little easier on us. They hated the Uber drivers, dude.
Yeah, that's a big beat. Filipinos get like the bottom of the barrel in the Asian world.
Japanese hated them, dude.
Chinese are not a big fan of Filipinos.
Well, yeah, whoever's number one in Asia at the time just fucking trashes everyone. They're like, Filipinos? Disgusting. Then the Filipinos come over here. We're like, what are you, Chinese? The hell are you anyway?
Hey, you're like Chinese but hotter. What the hell is that?
Fucking hot. This was wild. So, all right. So this March, it was a real bummer.
What the hell are you anyway?
What the fuck are you?
I can't.
Why are they getting mad? I can't believe they're getting mad. I'm just guessing.
I'm in the ballpark.
I can't put my finger on what kind of bullshit you are.
Yeah. Hey, Matt. I don't know what the fuck you are, but I don't like it. All right. So the Bataan Death March. Matt, if you ever didn't want to do something, it was the Bataan Death March.
Oh my god!
All right.
Well, my survival rate would be pretty decent.
You ever think about something you don't want to do?
Yes.
It's the Bataan Death March.
Dude.
But of the, like, what did I say, 70,000, 60,000 soldiers? 70,000 soldiers that surrendered. Also, this was the largest surrender in U.S. history.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Since Harper's Ferry in the Civil War. Well, no, I think like 12,000 soldiers. I forget.
That's
but
Union soldiers surrendered?
Union soldiers surrendered. The old Stonewall, your boy.
Wow.
So 70,000 people were like, all right, they said uncle, basically.
70,000 said uncle.
That's a lot of people to surrender, dude.
It is, and that was. It's weird to read these histories where they like kind of try to like let Japan off the hook a little somehow, where they're like, oh, the reason they treated them so poorly and didn't feed them or give them drinks is because they weren't prepared for that many prisoners.
Yeah.
Which I think technically they weren't, which just led to massive overcrowding in everything they did. But also they wouldn't let them drink water.
Yeah.
Like they emptied everybody's canteens when they started the march. They took everybody's fucking hats and helmets off so that they got fucking sunburned.
Damn, they took everyone's flat brims?
They took all their fucking doughboy flat brims. And it was called sun treatment. They would literally just sit you in the sun. They were cunts, dude.
Yeah.
The Bataan Death March was the forcible transfer by the Imperial Japanese Army of 75,000 American and Filipino prisoners of war to Camp O'Donnell. The main march lasted 5 to 10 days. The captives during this march were beaten, shot, bayoneted, and in many cases beheaded. A large number of those who made it to the camp later died of starvation and disease. During the few months in 1942 that Camp O'Donnell was used as a prisoner of war camp, about 20,000 Filipinos and 1,500 Americans died there of disease, starvation, neglect, and brutality.
And
Can Asian people get burned?
I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. They can cop a burn.
But
how long do you
I
think
don't
it
know.
takes?
These guys seem to handle it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, Japan, yeah, you get burnt.
Yeah.
There's like snow there. They can get crushed.
Cop the parasol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filipinos, they can take it. But the sun didn't get them.
Obviously not.
The swords and bullets got them.
Okay.
And trucks.
Oh.
They would follow the line of people with like trucks and tanks. So if you like fell behind, they would just get run over. If you started to straggle, they would kill you. If you asked for water, they would kill you.
Damn.
I mean, here's one that this was interesting. So there's a thing called the Pontingan River Massacre. Pontingan River Massacre. Hundreds of POWs were executed and they were executed by sword and bayonet, and I mean there was beheadings. Japanese love cutting fucking people's heads off with swords.
Yeah.
It's got to be kind of cool.
I just got to that part of Westworld.
When you sharpen a knife and
Westworld,
like cut a tomato,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, it went right through.
Yeah.
It's also weird too. The war prisoner culture is weird. Where it's like, yeah, they were jerks to the guy. Like you're supposed to like, if you're killing each other, then you're like, all right, time out, and they're like,
Well, you are.
Here's your room, sir.
There's rules.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
There's
though.
rules, and the Japanese were like, nah.
Yeah, they're like,
They didn't go with any of that.
Yeah.
well, it's just fun. It's just funny to be like, all right, when we're done killing each other, you got to give me room and
It's
board.
just to make sure your guys get the same treatment. That's what
yeah,
it is.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes
So
sense.
again, that goes back to why the Japanese did this,
yeah,
which is they never wanted their guys to surrender.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure their soldiers believed that if they got captured, they would get this. All right, listen.
Go ahead.
Listen. All right. So in that river massacre where hundreds of Filipino and U.S. soldiers got massacred, that was under the order of Masanobu Tsuji. Now, this is interesting because, like I said, Homo got fucking hung for what he had done. Tsuji was in that same. He was in the same boat. He was about to get hung. He escaped. All right. Tsuji managed to elude capture while facing war crimes by escaping to Thailand by himself.
Blended in.
Yeah, true. We're like, we can't find this motherfucker.
He's disappeared.
Yeah, like,
fuck.
He could be any of these. He took his hat off and just stood next to another guy. We're like,
I mean, dude, that was the absolute puzzle for a 1940s white dude. He going to Thailand. He's like, God fucking damn it.
he's like, there he is. Ah, shit.
You gotta get him before he gets to Thailand.
Yeah.
Are you that son of a bitch? You're doing war crimes?
We got to get him before he gets into any group of 5 dudes. Because he's vanished. So, this guy vanished. He just walked slowly to Thailand. We couldn't get him. Interestingly, now this is a guy who did. This is crazy. And I looked at the documents. I looked at the damn documents.
You looked at the docs?
I saw the docs. I saw the dossier on Tsuji.
Damn.
Tsuji, after this, in 2005, declassified documents revealed that Tsuji became a CIA asset during the Cold War.
Stop, dude.
Bro.
What?
Yeah.
How'd they find
awesome.
him?
I don't know. There was rumors that he was in North Vietnam helping the Viet Cong. There was, I don't know. Wild times,
That's
though.
fucking crazy.
But then, it was like, wait, he was a spy for us during the Cold War? I think he was also retarded. I think in the notes, they're like, this guy's totally useless. All right. I figured you'd be interested in a little Tsuji info.
Yeah, that's
like
pretty
that.
nice, actually.
Masanobu Tsuji was a fanatical Japanese militarist and brutal warrior. He was hunted after World War II for massacres of Chinese civilians and complicity in the Bataan Death March. Through the 50s, he worked for American intelligence, becoming a spy for the CIA during the Cold War. As an asset to the CIA, he was described as having no value because of lack of expertise in politics and information manipulation.
Following the surrender of Bataan on April 9th, 1942, I believe this is just, the Imperial Japanese Army prisoners were massed in Marivelis, where Mario was, and Bagak town. Forgive me. They were ordered to turn over their possessions. American Lieutenant Kermit Lay recounted how this was done. Actually, I'm going to do this like Carlin.
Please do.
I've been trying to sleep while listening to Carlin.
Yeah.
And it's impossible because he fucking screams quotes.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened? He's like, now you're talking the type of slaughter you couldn't even imagine. American Lieutenant Kermit K. recounted how this was done. They pulled us off into a rice paddy and began shaking us down.
He yells.
He screams the quotes.
He yells. He gets quiet. He changes the pace. He's like,
and this is what can you even imagine what this was like? Kermit K. had this to say. They pulled us off down into the... Yeah. It was making me laugh last night doing that. Anyway, here's the actual quote. They pulled us off down into a rice paddy and began shaking us down. They began shaking us down.
shaking us down.
There were about 100 of us, so it took time to get to all of us. Everyone had pulled their pockets wrong side out and laid all their things out in front. They were taking jewelry and doing a lot of slapping. They're slapping the boys around.
Fuck.
I laid out my New
Grab
Testament. He laid out his Bible, so go ahead. I dare you to take it, boys. After the shakedown, the Japs took an officer and 2 enlisted men behind a rice shack and shot them.
Damn.
And shot them. The men who had been next to them said that the Japanese, they had Japanese souvenirs and money. So anybody that was found with anything Japanese, the Japanese used it as an excuse to execute them for stealing. And they did this the whole time.
Oh, fuck.
A soldier approached our boy Mario. He's marching. So Mario's standing, he's in the march. A soldier approaches Mario. He demanded Mario's Notre Dame ring. Remember that ring that he loved?
Yeah.
Super Mario was still wearing it
Yeah.
in the march for some reason.
It's hilarious.
I think he forgot. He was probably pretty hungry.
Yeah.
Wow.
The soldier put his bayonet to Mario's neck, and a U.S. soldier turned to him and told him it wasn't worth dying for, because Mario said no. He loved his ring. This Japanese soldier put a bayonet to him and was like, give me the ring. He's like, no, you don't have to take out a ring. This is pretty crazy, though.
Did he get the ring off his hand?
He did.
Okay.
Japanese soldier steals the ring. Steals his Notre Dame class ring, and Mario is fucking... Whoa. So fucking sad, dude.
Oh, man.
Then this happens. This is wild. A Japanese officer approaches him and says, in perfect English, Says, did one of my men take something from you? Which is like, the hell is this guy doing speaking my language?
Yeah.
And Tonelli said, yeah, he took my ring. He took my class ring. And the guy says, the officer says, I studied in the United States. I went to Southern California. I remember that run. He remembers the game. He remembers Tonelli's run in 1937. And he was like, I'm familiar with Notre Dame football. And he handed him the ring back.
Whoa.
It's fucking wild.
That's pretty crazy. So he got to wear his ring.
Kept his ring. Now, the officer was like, you got to fucking hide that because everybody's going to try to steal that.
Yeah.
So,
He
I don't know where
respected the way
hit
he
it.
pounded the ball.
He loved that north-south running approach.
Wow.
But yeah, he's a Japanese officer. He studied at USC. He was like, I remember that 1937 run.
Yeah.
What a
Crazy.
game.
Think about like running into like Reggie Bush.
True.
Like if we, all right, let's say we like invaded like
Yeah.
Jamaica, and you just saw Usain Bolt walking, and you're like,
Oh, shit.
I remember that guy.
Yeah,
Hey, man.
I would be like, kill him right away. If
Like,
he was,
he's gonna escape.
if he's on the other side.
Tonelli
yeah,
didn't.
he's huge.
Tonelli had his
He can
strength, dude. He could, dude. You know how fast he would have trucked through the Bataan Death March?
Oh, my
That's true.
God.
If you saw like
Just,
yeah.
just lowering the shoulder. You ever see All-Star highlight videos?
Yeah.
Where he's like trucking through like 12 dudes. It would have been incredible. See those tiny Japanese try to tackle him?
Oh, no way.
Nobody could have stopped Mario.
Yeah, if you saw like an emaciated Usain Bolt,
Yeah.
you'd put the gold medal back on him.
Yeah.
You'd be like, come on, man. Just
The fastest.
Mario said this about that officer. He said, I always thought that someday he'd try to look me up. I guess he probably didn't make it. And
he didn't try to look that guy up. He didn't know that guy.
no, you fucking he didn't. I doubt he knew his name. It's like I looked up Matsuhaka Bakaraki or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they got streets over there.
Couldn't Google it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
He's got his ring.
He's got his ring. Anyway, Mario's got his ring back.
Mario Tonelli was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army 200th Coast Artillery who survived the Bataan Death March. It is actually true that during the Death March, his Notre Dame ring was stolen by a Japanese guard. The ring, however, was returned to him by an English-speaking Japanese officer who had been educated at the University of Southern California. The officer had seen Tonelli score the winning touchdown in the 1937 game between the two schools. When Tonelli left the US, he weighed 210 pounds, and when he returned on American soil, he weighed 98 pounds. Although still physically weak and suffering from the aftermath of malaria and other tropical diseases, Tonelli was signed onto the Chicago Cardinals during the 1945 season. After that, he got into politics and remained employed in local government until he retired in 1988 after 42 years of public service for Cook County in Illinois.
Last night, this is what I called Chris because this shit was sick, dude. If you get a chance, listen to Jocko's podcast or read the book.
Yeah.
It's by Jim Bollich. Jim Bollich, Bollich. He has a book called The Bataan Death March, A Soldier's Story. And Jocko has a whole podcast on it where he basically just reads he reads passages
I
from
love
the
when he
book.
does that. Yeah, he just like reads
Dude,
books.
I was listening to this thing like, it was crazy. The end of this book fucking ruled.
What was it about? So it was about a
Alright.
soldier's account of the Bataan.
Yeah,
Death
he
March?
was with Mario, and oddly enough, they were in the same camp initially as well, which was called Cabana Tuan.
Nice.
They were both in that camp.
Got a cabana.
Cabana Tuan. But this book, dude, like the fucking shit they went, like the
Yeah.
march. Dysentery, turns out it's not as funny as we all think it is.
What happens?
You end up like shitting out blood and mucus for the majority of it.
Oh,
You know, I always thought it was just diarrhea to death.
it's blood and mucus.
I thought it was.
It is, you diarrhea out blood and mucus.
I think I've had a little
Right,
dysentery
yeah.
before.
But that's
I've had-
that's the beginning.
I've
little.
been wiping too hard and
Little
getting
bit
dysentery. The beginning, you just crap. Yeah, you crap.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you start when shit
And then
gets.
the lining is gone.
Yeah,
and
then
you just,
shit-
yeah.
Just crap out everything.
You crap out. And so all these guys had dysentery.
Oh.
All these guys had everybody was crapping out. Everybody, and obviously there's no showers. There's no water. Jim Bollich, I'm gonna fuck his name
Yeah.
up. Jim. We'll call him Jim. He at one point he's marching. They would do this thing where they saw a well, like where you could get some water, and if you went to the well, you would get shot. but they were all so thirsty that they would all agree, a bunch of us are going to get shot, but we got to try to get this. So they, like a group of 12 dudes would run to get water. 5 of them would get shot to death. He was one of the guys. He went for it. Jim did, got a gulp of water and ran back in line and made it. But like 4 other guys got shot.
Damn.
I mean, it was crazy. The whole at one point he was marching and he saw a canteen on a fence while they were marching, and he was like, I thought it was a trap, but fuck it, I took it. And he got it. Jim got a canteen that got him through the march, and he had to hold it the whole day because he was like, I can't drink it in daylight because if somebody sees me, they'll kill me.
Yeah.
So he just marched with like a canteen hidden.
Oh, it killed me.
He was so thirsty.
He had a bev.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, what was interesting about that was he started to get dysentery, and right when they got to this camp, Cabana Tuan, there was a tree there that had leaves that cured dysentery. He got lucky that he started to get the symptoms of dysentery like during the march, so he knew he had it, so he started munching these leaves, but within like a few days the tree was empty. There was no leaves because everybody had dysentery.
Damn.
Dysentery has been an epidemic in armies throughout history. Its symptoms include blood and pus in the feces. It was said that it reduced men to living skeletons.
Everybody died. I'm talking like they all died. Damn. Now they split them up, U.S. and Filipino camps. So the Filipinos, during the march, like Filipino civilians were getting killed. Like they would try to give people food and they would get executed for that. Like,
fuck.
Dude, the Japanese were so mean, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Man, what's their problem?
What
Did we
take over the
massacre
world.
anybody?
Did we?
White people?
We don't do that kind of thing.
No, we don't do that crap. What do you mean we? I stand by nothing the United States has done.
No?
Other than going to the moon.
True.
That's the only one.
the only thing
I feel like I
celebrate.
had something to
Colonize
do with
the moon.
that. All right, so Mario's at this camp. So is old Jim. Jim had like, if you listen to this podcast, it gives you a deeper account. I mean, I'm starting to run out of steam here because the rest of this is now, and also you got to keep in mind, this is the beginning of the war.
Oh.
This is like the very beginning of the war. These guys got into prison camps, and the prison camps are exactly what you'd think they were. There's like fucking bamboo walls, dirt.
Yeah.
You just get killed. 4 guys tried to escape from Cabana or whatever the fuck it was called, and
Cabana
Tuan. 4 guys tried to escape. They all got brought back. They got placed in crates at the front of the camp, like small, tiny crates, so that everybody could see what happens if you tried to escape. Then they marched everybody out, had the 4 guys dig their own graves, and then got executed into their own graves.
Oh.
After that, they split up into like a buddy system, a group of 10. So if one of you escaped, everybody died. And anytime somebody escaped, everybody else got executed.
Kill all your buddies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're mean, dude.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Did people successfully escape from there?
Yeah, and what was cool, especially some of that cavalry unit, some of them escaped, and they formed a guerrilla resistance in the Philippines for like a long time.
Fuck.
Yeah, pretty tight.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. Also, listen to the hardcore history on this. The Australians versus the Japanese, pretty tight.
It's a good battle.
They're
They're tight now. They're allies.
Are they, boys?
I think the allies.
I think there's so many Japanese. We're all allies with Japan now.
Yeah. Japan.
Okay,
yeah, Japan was like,
Anything Australia
give us
is doing
baseball,
is
give
us.
us basketball.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I was reading about.
If you think of Australia, that's basically Canada for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything we do, they're like, hell yeah.
Southern
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah,
Copycats.
they rule though. Just
sure.
like Canada.
Yeah.
Canada and Australia both kind of rule. Whoa, you don't like Canada?
I'm not. I think
yeah,
Canada's cool.
yeah.
I'm saying they're kind of like copycats.
Yeah.
They just chill, do stuff, and then like, what's America up to? Man?
Yeah, except both of them fight like hard.
Australia and Canada.
Yeah, they're hard.
I mean, Australia would crush Canada.
fighters. You'd be surprised.
I mean, I know there's some tough dudes from Canada for
No,
sure.
Yeah.
Canada was a D-Day. Canada fucking balled out because they were all
Really?
English.
But I thought they were at like the weak parts. Were they Omaha, Utah, or were they like?
Look, I don't know
down the
exactly where.
line?
I know the Canadians did work.
Yeah, I think so. But there was sections
Historically, Canada has done.
So you're saying
good stuff.
Aussies are kind of yellow bellies. when it
No,
comes to-
Aussies are hardcore fucking.
So there's
dudes.
no yellow bellies.
Neither of them. I'm saying both of those countries are hardcore.
Nice.
Hardcore.
What's the?
It's history.
I feel like somebody has to be a yellow belly so I
Gallipoli
can
or
feel good
whatever?
about myself.
France. You could say France.
Oh yeah.
France is weak.
No. They just ran into the
Buzzsaw.
Germans twice.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, they ran into Alabama twice.
In World War II, some 1.1 million Canadians served in the army, with 42,000 of those soldiers being killed and 55,000 wounded in the war. Almost 1 million Australians served in the army during World War II. Over 27,000 Australians were killed and 23,000 wounded.
Germany's Alabama. Germany's Alabama.
Yeah, that's got to be fun. In the beginning, Italy had to feel like they picked the right horse. They were like,
Fucking
look
right,
at
dude. Look how sharp Hitler looked. He was up
Yeah.
there screaming and shit. It's like, yo, this is our fucking team. Compare him to fucking Churchill.
Yeah.
And also,
true.
Germany had just taken everything they wanted the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I popped on, Carlin came on. Listen to he's got a new one against the Japanese. He's on the third one of that.
He's still going
which
hard.
I feel a little uneasy listening to anymore.
Really?
No. But it was funny just, he was talking about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And how, like, historically, it's like one of the dumbest fucking decisions ever.
Like,
Military planners today are like, why would they do that?
well,
I mean, obviously, hindsight's, 2 nukes. But still, it's funny to just...
double F. Could have been a double F.
No, how would it be a false flag?
Because they're like, we just want to go attack the Japanese.
So we hired the Japanese to attack us?
I don't know.
No,
You think someone faked it? It could have been
You can't
actors.
fake-
It could have been actors.
You think there was the Japanese Navy was in on it? They're like, hey,
it
we'll
was
help
two
you guys
planes,
out.
right?
In Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
Did you... What?
It was 2 planes that crashed in Pearl Harbor, just one. You could easily fake a Pearl Harbor.
Do you think Pearl Harbor was 9/11?
I'm saying if you're I'm just throwing it out there. If you're saying that it didn't make any sense.
No, but it was more than 2 planes.
How many was it?
Probably like 100.
100 planes
It was
attacked
the
Pearl
naval.
Harbor?
It was the aircraft carriers.
I thought it was just like 2 little prop planes crashed, and everyone was like, what the fuck?
Oh, really? You thought it was like
I thought it was
2
like-
shitty planes?
I thought
And
it
we
was
were like, oh, we're going to war, dude.
I thought it was like 2 propeller planes came in. And it was.
Did you really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
No, it was... I mean, it was a huge operation.
Yeah, they're big planes.
They
coming.
brought their Navy.
Damn.
Yeah. It was war.
The Navy pulled up, and then the planes.
It was aircraft carriers. Yeah.
The big ones.
Yeah, they brought the boys out.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So they like totally devastated it.
Yeah, if it was 2 planes, it would have gone almost unnoticed.
That's what I was saying. I was like, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even know. It'd be like that could be anyone flying a shitty plane into like. So it was the boys pulled up.
They really went for it.
Okay,
Which
so-
is, and it's documented.
Gotcha. So
Now the false flag comes in where did we know they were going to do it and
That's
be
what
like,
it
all
was.
right, go ahead. Because there is some weird shit about us taking some ships out of that harbor.
Mhm.
Some like good ships
That could have
just happened to not be docked that day.
I could have held them off.
That not would have held them off, but would have been shitty to lose for us. You know?
I got you.
So we like kind of kept some old shitty ships for them to blow up
Yeah.
and be like, oh, you got us. Well,
Yeah, it's also weird. Yeah, like back then, people didn't just like overseas like stealth fly over. There was like a massive ships coming for probably several days, and I'd imagine the U.S. military was scoping the waterways and being like, "Yo, bro, the Japanese Navy's on the way." You're like, say what?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there was like radio stuff where they would be like, oh, fuck, something's happening.
Yeah.
Where are they going to hit? Oh, the closest island to them? They thought it was going to be around there.
Right.
Which I think they did get hit, too, like Guam and shit like that. But
Who knows?
regardless, I thought it was funny to, like, I've never heard historians talk about how fucking stupid that was. Like, because I don't know, for some reason you think of it as like an even matchup, the U.S. and Japan in World War II, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah, well, that's
it was literally just sucker punching the biggest guy in the room.
It was a
And
short,
then being like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, he's still up. And they're like, why did you think you were going to knock him out?
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it is tight to roll up with your Navy, be like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, fuck
Going
you
to
guys
war.
going to do, dude?
It's like, dude, don't you know you have like space bombs and shit, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you guys doing? Get
Yeah,
out of
we're
here!
gonna fuck you up for this.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
That was pretty minimal too. They killed like what, like a couple hundred people.
Yeah, I
it
mean, it was
foul?
probably, it was in probably like less than 2,000. I
Alright.
think, no, it was, yeah.
So
probably around that.
they about 9/11.
They hit us with a good 9/11.
All right, so they give us a classic 9/11.
First pitch, though. That's the good first punch was a 9/11, and then
Yeah.
sit back.
Various conspiracy theories allege that the US government officials had advanced knowledge of Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. The USS Lexington and the USS Enterprise were 2 aircraft carriers that were in the Pacific but not at Pearl Harbor during the attack. Their survival allowed the US Navy to mount an effective counteroffensive against the Japanese.
They were winning up front the first like year or two.
That year
They
that
were
war.
fucking us up, yeah.
Yes, we were just loading these huge bombs and being like, whatever you guys think you're doing.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's about to become a humongous.
They were attacking us with like swords and whistles and just charging. And it was like, all right, well, we're going to just have some Jewish dude build a nuke. I listened to Carlin's hardcore history on Japan.
It's
Pearl
scorching.
You might get you going, dude.
What'd they do?
You'd ought to get you going.
What'd they do?
Yeah, it was just fucking snuck attack, dude. Very dishonorable.
That is pretty dishonorable.
That was something they debated. It wasn't honorable.
Who debated? Oh, the Japanese. When they're planning the...
when they were really fucking up China.
Okay.
They were destroying, raping.
They
were butt fucking China.
Literally.
And they were
Damn.
Quite a few documented butt fucks.
What the fuck?
They were also... they were just taking other islands. And they were expanding. Their empire was huge. And we were supplying their oil.
What year was this, roughly?
This is the 30s.
So the 30s, it was massively accepted to go into another country and just literally fuck people into submission.
It wasn't accepted.
By the Japanese, though, it was like...
Oh, yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they were completely on board with this.
They were like, why are you guys... their opinion was it was better that they were colonizing than white people.
So, we gotta fuck these guys faster.
We're taking all of Asia. It's ours.
Okay.
But then the United States... Instead of intervening, because there were a ton of Westerners in China that were like, this is crazy what's going on here.
Yeah, we're getting raped hard.
There's a hard rape. There's a lot of rape.
So it was like these dudes were coming blurry genitals first.
Blurry genitals everywhere. Just going wild.
The Japanese Empire was huge. The total amount of land of the empire reached 8.5 million square kilometers. They had conquered mainland China, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines, the Dutch East Indies, Singapore, Myanmar, New Guinea, Guam, and different smaller islands in the Pacific.
And then what's funny is there's a bunch of Japanese historians that deny it, which is still an issue.
It's still an issue that
Japanese textbooks don't really acknowledge the atrocities.
Makes sense. Well, there's so much shame, dude.
I mean, compare that to fucking our textbook.
Yeah.
I got remember slavery?
I got the watered down version in my grade school.
Early on, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Even high school, they didn't really hit me with a lot.
I remember it definitely
I also didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, our history definitely filtered in. Slavery was studied that every fucking year.
My history teacher cut a deal with me. He told me if I just stopped disrupting the class, he would give me a B. And I was like, whatever.
Incredible.
It's wicked.
Yeah, dude. You terrorized that motherfucker.
I actually liked him a lot.
Into appeasement.
He tried
to appease your
empire. He ended up giving me guitar lessons. And we smoked weed together. It was pretty sick.
Damn, this guy's
when
a
I
man.
was a sophomore, we would smoke weed, and he would give me guitar lessons, and that's when he cut the deal. He's like, bro, you have to stop fucking shouting shit out in class. The whole class goes into disarray.
That's sick.
It's couldn't help it, bro.
Yeah, you're Kim Jong-un, dude.
They fired his ass. Yeah, well, I was Kim Jong-un.
I have nukes. He doesn't have nukes, but what are we going to do? We're going to appease him. But
these guys deny it.
So Japan was butt fucking China hard.
Damn.
And people were kind of calling for intervention, but no one wanted to have an all-out war. So the United States was like, we're going to cut your fucking oil off because we were their oil. We were
oil. Fueling the butt fucking.
Yeah.
We were the lube.
Yeah, and I think we gave them a year.
Stop butt fucking.
Stop butt fucking. And if you don't stop butt fucking this year, we're done.
So I'm just imagining all my little Roman computer legions running in and fucking butt fucking.
Yeah, the Romans were. Yeah.
So we were no, we sanctioned them.
We were we're gonna cut your oil off in a year.
Damn.
And if we did that, they were fucked. Nothing would work if they did that.
For sure.
So that's why they attacked Pearl Harbor.
That's not a way to hold on to your oil supply.
Yeah, but then there's oil supplies around that's held by European countries.
Oh.
In the Pacific.
So they try to backdoor us?
They attacked us and then started taking up as much resources as they could. And they had China. That was a ton of resources.
True, yeah. Fuck. These bastards.
They fucking snuck attack, dude.
Well, that was full Game of Thrones back then.
Yeah. Especially then, especially in the 40s, it was go time.
There might have been 2% of Americans who were we shouldn't fucking bomb. We shouldn't do this.
Well,
I mean, when they dropped the atom bomb, I'm sure people were not totally stoked.
I'm sure everyone was fucking stoked.
What percentage of people was were against that, you know?
I bet it was incredibly low. Especially that was the end of the war.
True. I mean,
People
that was
were
probably
done.
I mean, that was like getting the Twin Towers hit. There was probably people who were like so stoked on nuking
and
Japan.
the atrocities they were committing.
Yeah.
To people that everyone knew.
True.
Like everyone knew people that were over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fucking get rid of these motherfuckers.
They hit them with a fucking nuke.
Hit them with a nuke, and we're like, yo, chill. And they were like, all right, we surrender. And then we hit them with another one. And we're like, you better fucking stop. Make VCRs.
Well, the other one was like, sorry, we got to test this other one out.
Well, the other one, again, I've said it before, the other one was like at Russia. He was like, you guys better fucking chill, too. We got a bunch of these, dude. We looked at them in the eyes, and we're like, you see what we're doing to these dudes? You better calm down.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's... The Cold War was just a continuation of that.
Of being like, yeah, we'll fucking do nukes.
Yeah.
You want to do nukes?
We were allies, but then as soon as everybody got defeated and there were two empires there, it was just like, all right, well, we got to fight you now.
Yeah.
But
hopefully they don't.
The second atom bomb might be seen as unnecessary to some. However, it was stated that one bomb might mean that was the only one that the US had. But a second bomb would lead Japan to believe that there was a whole arsenal of them. And the US could start destroying whole cities, one after another, whilst also sending a message out to the rest of the world, especially the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So wait, what are they saying about Japan? What is that?
I don't know. They said a new photo may prove that Japan captured Amelia Earhart.
What year was Amelia Earhart? Was that like the 20s?
1937.
Oh, 37?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So she was almost World War II, dude.
Yeah, she was probably the first shot.
Yeah, the Japs were
they probably
like,
thought Amelia was a bomb.
Oh,
All the raining women, I don't know.
oh, very pretty white lady.
Amelia Earhart was declared dead on January 5th, 1939. On July 2nd, 1937, Earhart disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to become the first female pilot to circumnavigate the world. The conspiracy here is that Amelia Earhart actually didn't die in some remote part of the Pacific, but that she was actually captured and killed by Japanese soldiers who suspected that she was an American spy. She nor her aircraft carrier were ever found, despite the US Navy looking for her on all islands except for Japanese-owned islands. The Imperial Japanese Navy didn't take kindly to American visitors to these islands, and had banned Americans from visiting even back in the 1920s.
Murdered 10,000 of their citizens.
Dude, we gave the Japanese what for in World War II,
did.
dude. We gave them a hard what for.
Dude, that's what they got.
They got fucking
That
dealt
flag,
with, dude.
That flag will pump you up, though.
The Japanese
That,
flag?
like, setting sun-looking
Oh.
flag with the rays out. I'd be pumped up for that.
Yeah, that's a sick
Plus,
one.
they were, like...
Empire of the
They
Sun,
fell
dude.
hard. Yeah, exactly.
That's their fuck-
Yeah, dude, we fucked Japan up.
Yeah, Japan got fucking butt fucked. You know what also is annoying to me?
What?
You hear a lot of people with history that are like, the U.S. was like super hard on, like we shouldn't have dropped the nuke.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, yeah, they fucking had that one coming.
The nuke?
The fucking Japanese
I don't know anything about it.
They deserved to get nuked twice.
What were they doing?
The Japanese in World War II?
I know they're being bad.
They were bad boys.
So they got the fucking...
They got the fucking elbow. They got the stinky leg drop, dude. They got the hardest fucking top rope fucking frog splash, dude. Twice.
That's definitely like a group of 14-year-old kids talking shit, and someone's like, you won't do it, and one dude just throws a punch, and everyone's
Haymaker.
like, yo, fuck.
Well, no. I mean, obviously Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
They fucking threw the fucking first sucker punch.
That could have been a false flag operation. but go
There's a
ahead.
lot of gay rumors about false flags, but whatever. Yeah, we were like, all right, please hit us. That was the U.S. being like, go ahead, dude.
Yeah.
Do something.
I wonder, too, if people wanted to use one of those things, and they were like, all right, fuck
Well,
it.
that's the...
Drop it on them.
That's another thing is the first one,
Yeah.
I believe Hiroshima was... Because Nagasaki as well. We dropped two.
Yeah.
And the first one was for Japan, and the second one was for Russia.
But we
The second one was like, we looked at Russia while we dropped it, and we were like, dude, this could be you if you don't fucking chill out.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. You know in John Wick when he shoots that guy in the head while he's looking at it? Never mind. You won't get that
I know
reference.
exactly what you're talking about.
Somebody will get it. You know when he's in the party? When he fucking attacks the guy's son, and his son is getting out of the hot tub? That was Russia. And we were holding Japan down, and we looked Russia in the eyes and fucking
God
executed
damn.
them, dude.
Fuck.
But it also, the only thing that was impressive about it was that it was one bomb. Because we inflicted that much damage and much more casualties in places like Dresden and Tokyo
Okay.
before that.
Trill.
Between February 13th and February 15th of 1945, over 1,000 heavy bombers of the Royal Air Force and the US 8th Air Force struck the city of Dresden in eastern Germany. The bombings and the resulting firestorm ended up killing up to 25,000 people. The bombing of Tokyo was a series of air raids on Japan launched by the United States Army Air Forces. These bombings left an estimated 100,000 civilians dead and over 1 million homeless.
So what were they doing so bad, just for people who don't know?
What Japan was doing in World War II? Well,
just for people who
pre-World War II, so around when that fucking stud Earhart went down.
Yeah.
They raped Nanking.
Who's Nanking?
It was China. They fucking went into China.
And his butt fucked them?
It was such a catastrophe that it's actually historically known as the rape of Nanking.
Holy fuck.
It's documented as the rape of.
So they went through... So they got decked out in raiding gear and went into
and went in and
and just raped everyone?
Dude, it was all Japanese men, too. Just fucking... all their pussies were blurred out. They're fucked up.
Their tentacles are coming out and raping
dude,
chicks.
They did wild shit. They did the fucking Bataan death march. Dude, they did crazy shit. They're beyond crazy.
Jesus Christ. So
they believed their emperor was a god.
Yeah, I know that about Japan.
And they were willing to fight to the death. So when the U.S., after the atomic bombs, after the emperor got on the radio and was like, "I surrender," a lot of the people would refuse to believe it.
The voice of God, basically.
Yeah, and they killed themselves. They were jumping off cliffs. They were
hot to fucking stab themselves in the belly.
Japan was wild, dude.
They do love killing themselves.
Seriously, if anybody in World War II deserved to get hit with the fucking 1-2,
yeah,
Japan may have needed it. All right.
That knocked a lot of the bullshit out of them.
The Nazis definitely needed a good fucking pounding.
Okay.
But Japan needed a hard fucking
Well, that goes back to the numbers of everything.
Here's reality.
That goes back to the numbers of everything.
What about that?
Well, how many people died in Japan? How many people do you think Japan killed of their own citizens?
Of their own citizens?
Yeah, or even China. Combined in China.
China was worse.
China killed what?
In World War
50,000
II,
people?
I believe China is number 2 in casualties. But back to the Japanese.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Those fucking rascals.
Dude, believe it or not.
So the bomb. How many people died in the bomb?
Not as many as you think. I think 80,000.
Okay. At once.
Yeah, in one flash. One quick Polaroid, just fucking everyone's gone.
God damn, that's like the Goosebumps book, Say Cheese and Die.
Say cheese. That's what at least one person in Japan said. When the flash happened, he just turned and was like, "Oh, cheese."
Oh my god.
No, dude, that's
damn.
Yeah, that was
again.
That's
fucking hardcore history.
Again.
That's so funny.
But I watched. There's a documentary on HBO on the bombs, and it's like Black Rain, I think.
I saw some of that.
Really fucking good, but really fucked up.
Yeah, I saw people melting and shit.
Oh yeah, everybody melted and burned, and it if you were at the epicenter of the bombs, it was okay. Because it was just fucking, you're evaporated.
Yeah. But that was Say Cheese and Die.
Yeah, that was Say Cheese. Fucking gone, dude. That's nice. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Just a flat. You know what's cool? Yeah. A lot of people don't know this. The bomb goes off about a mile up from the ground.
Really?
The atomic bomb doesn't
hit the ground.
Not a mile. I think a mile might be exaggerating. But no, it doesn't hit the ground. It's timed to detonate above ground. So it's in the air when it goes, and
that's
it flashes
why it has that big mushroom cloud?
In the air. I don't know if they're correlated, those two.
That's fucking crazy.
The bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki killed between 150 and 250,000 people. The bombs exploded 600 meters above the ground, or 2,000 feet. Detonating it above the ground makes the effects of the bomb even more extreme. Survivors of the atom bomb were called hibakusha. They were treated by many like outcasts in Japanese society after the war.
We gotta get one.
We gotta get an atomic bomb.
Some nukes, yeah.
You sound like North Korea right now. That's what he was saying, dude. Kim Jong-un was like, "Oh, very cool. I need one."
That's how everyone's gonna get rid of nukes. I've heard about them now. I'm like, damn, these things sound fucking sick.
It'd be super sweet if I had one.
It is hard. We should get rid of all of them, and it's like, all right, you get rid of them first. It's like
exactly. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Well, as soon as if one person has them, they're in control of the whole world.
Exactly.
So it's like we did all that weird shit too, where we're like, all right, guys, we can't have these things anymore. Russia, come on, get rid of them. Like, what about you guys? We're like, we'll get rid of them too, but fucking come on.
Yeah, but first, don't even try to make one. And they're like, well, you guys have one, so get rid of yours and we'll stop.
Like, no.
And it was like, we know you're not going to stop, dude. We knew they weren't going to stop.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have stopped. They were fucking dickheads.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, the fucking Japanese got what they had.
God
coming,
damn, that's
dude.
a sick take on that. You never hear anyone say that.
Well, I mean, anybody that's ever studied history
Oh, yeah, of course.
knows that Japan in World War II was equal imperial-wise to Germany. They were just as imperial. Like, they were taking everything.
Well, now it's like the history book's one page, and it's like white people did a bunch of bad shit.
Yeah, now the
it's
history
like,
pages. Now it's like, maybe we shouldn't have dropped the bomb. Maybe that was too harsh. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That was a fucking display of like, all right, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's kind of like, you ever fight, like, it reminds me of like wrestling with my dog. It's like he's biting me, I'm pushing back and forth, but eventually you have to hit him with the fucking like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
And fucking just fucking hold his head down and be like, that's it, we're done, dude.
You're like, I'm fucking around with you.
Yeah. That's what we did to Japan. We're like, dude, we're fucking done. Stop it.
Dude, it's so funny though that they were like running around there looking like Power Rangers bad guys, swinging swords.
They were. Oh, fuck.
Well, they ruled Asia.
Yeah,
Japan, everyone hated Japan.
Well, they raped Nanking.
Jesus, dude.
They raped a city. They had territory-wise, I think the largest empire ever. I think.
That's so fucking weird.
Although the British Empire, pretty good.
So they were going in and just fucking busting out the boners, dude.
Oh,
They put the swords down and busted out the beast
They
stingers,
went
dude.
full fucking boners and fucking, yeah, dude.
They ransacked the city boner first and just
Boner
came
first.
in
They were
like,
like
crashing through walls like the Kool-Aid man with the dick out, like, oh.
like, a Chinese, not a good, very good people. We can very good rape them.
You just see a dick through your straw hut and you're like, oh. Like you're sitting on the floor eating soup and a dick pops through and you're like,
what a horrible life.
All you see is the head. You're like, huh?
What a horrible fucking life.
Oh, dude, what was this, the 40s?
Can you imagine getting raped by a bunch of Japanese dudes?
No, I can't.
Oh,
dude.
man. That fucking sucks.
First of all, their bushes in the 40s are probably like not touched since puberty.
Full fucking sick-ass pubes. Some Japanese soldier's pubes, dude. Oh, my God.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, dude. No,
and he like walked from Japan to rape you. He walked all the way from Japan. He can fuck you for.
He hopped on a boat.
Yeah, he rode and then walked, and now he's fucking you in your straw hut, and then he
came over there just to fuck you and then behead you. Dude, they did like, I'm talking like babies on bayonets. Like they did.
Jesus, man.
They did the worst.
What the fuck was their problem?
Well, it was actually similar to the Nazis and Soviets, where it was like, these people aren't human.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, the government, your emperor, who's a god, is telling you. So, basically, Donald Trump, our god emperor.
Yeah. Godhead.
If Donald Trump was like, Matt and Shane, these people aren't human.
Yeah.
We'd be like, sweet, we can kill them.
Can we rape them? He's like, yeah, sure.
He'd be like, you should rape them. Everybody says you should rape them. You should go rape them.
Great.
Yeah. But that's what they did. Dude. They got a little wild. And then they got fucking nuked. They got so wild that a nuke was like a reasonable.
I would say raping an entire city.
Yeah,
you get nuked.
You get nuked.
That's the Eastern law of karma at display. Really.
True.
That's the biggest dick of all, coming down and just being like.
It's a hard dick. It's a flash in the sky. Next thing you know, you're melted.
You're a fucking skeleton, dude, holding a cup of tea, just like.
On December 13th of 1937, the Japanese Imperial Army began its seizure of Nanking, the capital of the Republic of China. Japanese troops killed Chinese soldiers in violation of the laws of war. They murdered Chinese civilians, raped Chinese women, and destroyed or stole Chinese property on a scale that had never been seen before. The death toll of the Nanking Massacre ranges between 200 and 300,000.
Oh, that fucking all right. So I was watching this documentary, and I was a little more liberal about it at the time. I was at, like, when you watch the documentary, about the bombing.
You showed me some of it,
dude. It gets a little like, damn, I wish we didn't do that.
Yeah,
like, I mean, of course,
you
don't want to fucking do that.
Of course.
Don't want that.
I hope not, yeah.
But I was watching it, and there's a story in that about a house that was on fire, and this guy's brother was inside burning to death, and he had to hold back his own mother, who was trying to kill herself in the fire with her son, who was like, let me die with him. And I was sitting there like, I was a little hungover. I was like, holy fuck, this is fucking so fucking depressing.
Well,
and
you think you're depressed, yeah.
And then my dad was in the kitchen, and he just walked by and was like, good. And I was like, fuck you, Dad. He's like, you don't understand, Dad. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. And he was exactly right, dude. He was exactly right, dude. That was the most American fucking thing he could have said. He was like, yeah, fucking good.
How sick is that?
He just saw a fucking Asian person like, and the fire was a very great. And my dad just good. And kept walking. I was like, God damn it. This one's about the USS Indianapolis, which was...
Where'd that float around?
That was in the Pacific in World War II. It delivered parts for the atom bomb. So it delivered parts for the bomb that hit Hiroshima, and it was like a secret mission.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah. So there's like 1,100 dudes on this fucking ship.
Holy fuck. Which is atom bomb parts?
Yeah. They bring it to the island. They're on their way back.
Jesus
like
Christ,
a little... I think it was east of the Philippines. And they got torpedoed in the middle of the night by a Japanese submarine.
It's fair enough, dude.
A submarine.
You imagine the dudes on that ship. So that would have been like our great-grandfathers just on a boat, and they're like, what are we bringing out here? And they're like, I don't know, man. There's new bombs. They're supposed to be fucking...
Dude.
What was it?
Basically grandfathers.
Okay.
These guys were like 20, 19.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
These are
That was
kids.
what year was that?
1945.
Fuck yeah, it would have been my grandfather, yeah.
Yeah.
They're born 1918.
Start to finish, this thing's a fucking nightmare. I'm ruining the episode, but whatever. If you weren't going to listen to it, this is what happened.
So these dudes are on the boat.
On the boat, ship gets hit with torpedoes while
They hit with a torpedo.
They get hit with 2 torpedoes out of a Japanese submarine.
God, those things are probably so fast.
The ship sinks, like it's a huge ship, and it sank in 12 minutes,
Terrifying.
which is like right away.
Oh my god.
And they had to, I forget what it's called, but compartmentalize the ship. So you gotta,
they block off water?
You just got to block off rooms that your friends are in.
Fuck.
So like, again, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, goodbye, all my friends that were in that room.
You just shut them in there?
Yeah, you got to lock it in. And they're like, let us out. And you're like, I can't, I'm sorry. Then...
And the ship's sinking anyway.
Ship's sinking. The one part he talked about, the ship goes vertical, like in Titanic, and dudes are hitting the propellers that are still running and getting launched like a fucking baseball, just home run.
I mean, they're into pieces, too.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And it's one of those where the ship sinks, you get dragged under. So everybody knows that, so they're all swimming as fast as they can. A bunch of dudes get sucked under.
Wait, when the ship sinks, what, like it
brings shit down.
The water bends down?
Well, it's like a vacuum. It sucks things.
Oh, Shane, that's terrifying.
The current sucks you under with it.
With the weight of the ship?
Yes.
Fucking Jesus, man.
Then there's a 2-inch thick...
I'd rather get shut in my room and just fucking die.
Oil slick on the water. So everyone's burning. You can't get oxygen. You can't come up for air without burning alive.
Imagine being the Japanese dude who shot the shot. It was like perfect. Fucking beautiful.
Great fucking hit, dude. Let's go to sleep. Yeah. All right, you clock out.
Let's go to our tiny pod and sleep, dude.
Good job today.
That's a perfect shot.
That's the worst. You just inflicted hell on 1,300 people.
And meanwhile, atom bomb parts are just floating to the bottom of the sea?
It was on the way back. They delivered it, dude.
Oh, okay.
That submarine got what it had coming to it. I mean, people will try to justify the atom bomb all the time, and I'm like, dude, look at what happened there.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
That was pretty bad.
That's worth 2 atom bombs.
Yeah. So what happened?
Yeah. So then they go into the water.
What were we doing with those atom bombs? We were bringing them to bomb Japan anyway.
The USS Indianapolis was attacked on their way back from Tinian Island on July 30th of 1945. Shortly after dropping off parts for the atomic bombs that were being used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The USS Indianapolis sank in the Philippine Sea. Out of the 1,195 crewmen on board, only 316 survived.
Yeah, they were delivering the parts to bomb them.
Oh my god.
So
that submarine hit them on the wrong part.
Yeah.
They're like, we got them, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's like, nah, they already did it, dude.
Oh my god.
Delivered it. But
so they're burning alive.
The people that survived that, I think 300 people died pretty much right away in the first like 15 minutes. So now there's like 900 dudes just in the water. And that's when the shark feeding frenzy starts for 3 days.
God.
3 days.
Oh.
And it started out with the sharks would eat like carcasses. And then they got tired of that and started eating dudes that were like wounded and stragglers because they all went into different groups that were spread out over
Were they laying on a piece of wood or something, just floating?
Some had rafts, but yeah, most of them had life vests. And you're just floating. And one thing Carlin was talking about was how like it's not like the North where you just die. It was warm water, so you could live. Like you just die of thirst.
Sunburn, dude.
And sunburn.
Ugh.
And like there's stories of like dudes who, because their life vests, like it looks like your friend's just sleeping, and then you go to touch him and he floats up and his whole lower half is gone.
Oh.
Because there's so many sharks.
Oh.
Just all around. Like, dude.
Jesus Christ.
The guy who found them, like a dude was flying when he saw them, and he was like, we went low enough that you could just see people getting eaten. Like, while they flew over, people were getting ripped apart by sharks.
I mean, that's a fucking jackpot for a shark.
Yeah, dude. There's a story of these dudes on a raft, and there was a hole in the middle of the raft, and this big-ass tiger shark kept sticking his head into the raft, dude. Oh, my God. A shark's head was coming into the hole in the middle of this raft. It's the scary... And, dude, at night, you're floating at night in the middle of the ocean, and there's sharks everywhere.
Jesus Christ.
And there's this kid was, like, struggling, and this dude in a group was like, I'm going to go try to save him. He went out, a huge fin comes, chases him back to the group. Oh. The kid's just out there getting ripped apart.
Dude, the moments for bravery are over, dude. As soon as I'm in a raft, there's sharks, I'm just like...
Yeah.
I just don't see myself being like, let me get off this fucking raft.
If someone's screaming for help...
I'll toss him a rope, dude. I don't like going in the ocean past my knees.
They didn't have a raft. You're just in clusters of dudes with life jackets.
True.
And there's a dude, like, if you wanted to die, you just separated yourself from the group. Like, people would kill themselves just by being like, all right, I'm done with this.
Yeah,
Swim fucking 20 yards out, and sharks will rip you up.
Munch you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, it's the worst.
But if you're clustered in with all your boys, sharks are like...
At first, they were leaving you alone.
And then they started being like, we can eat that. We can eat that,
They started taking chunks out of the group. It's fucking crazy.
Holy fuck. How many people survived it?
I don't know. I think...
Just the one guy from Jaws.
I think 300 of the 900 that went into the water got out.
Dude.
I think. I could be wrong on that.
And they just went right back to work.
I doubt it, dude. That fucks you up forever.
It was said that up to 150 men were killed by sharks. Mainly the oceanic white-tip sharks, who are known to be aggressive against humans. This frenzy is often referred to as the worst shark attack in history.
The captain committed suicide 20 years later.
What?
He's still getting letters from people's families that were like, this Christmas would have been nice if you didn't kill our fucking son.
What?
He kept all the letters he got from these people and killed himself. These people were the most fucked up PTSD you can... Dude, imagine...
Why did... I know, but why did...
I know. That family that did that's a bunch of fucking losers.
The captain's supposed to die. Captain's supposed to go down with the ship.
Yeah, until the ship's going down, then it's like, all right, I'm not going to die right now.
You said you ditch the captain code if your ship went down.
If the ship's burning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd ditch the captain.
I'd take that fucking hat off right away and sneak out. Dude.
I'd ditch the captain code if they're like, you got to transport atom bombs across the Pacific into enemy territory. I'd be like, yeah,
I
quit. Skipper, get up there.
Yeah, but just...
That's fucked up. They're like, it's not him.
I know. Like, there's people dealing with...
Yeah, their kid getting eaten by a shark.
Idiots too, probably.
Some of them might have been like burning alive while being eaten by the top half burning, bottom half getting eaten by a shark. Yeah, think about that.
It's the worst possible way to die.
S'mores, dude. The sharks are probably like, tasty.
You got some s'mores, dude. Yeah, and like the sharks they were talking about how big they were, like huge tiger sharks. God. Just like
those sharks are probably freaking out, dude.
Yeah, it was a frenzy. They were going nuts.
Yeah, they've never eaten white people before, dude.
Now they got some white meat out there.
They're like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, there's 900 dudes just floating.
Those sharks are probably like, you gotta try this shit. This is
he went
delicious.
back to his pals. He's like, come on, man.
There's fucking white guys up here.
There was another guy got grabbed by his waist and dragged through the water like waist high though. Like he stayed
fast?
up. He stayed up and was getting pulled past everyone screaming.
Oh,
Dude, it's the most horrific thing you can
it's
imagine.
horrible.
I can't get it out of my head. Floating in the ocean at night, and you just hear people get pulled under, and then the vest floats back up. Like
just waiting to get bitten by a shark, and then the moment one of those finally snagged you, it was probably like, no. Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, USS Indianapolis.
Does that captain have any relatives?
I don't know.
I might start sending him fucking hate mail.
Send him a hate mail. Be like,
your bitch ass granddad. Kill yourself, dude.
Yeah,
your grandfather's a fucking piece of shit, dude.
Pussy, dude.
He should have went down with the fucking. He should have locked himself in and went down. I think you're supposed to just like climb to the top of the ship and grab it and fucking submerge.
Which is such a ridiculous. Imagine the first guy to be like, "Yeah, captain goes down with the ship." The captain's probably like, "What? Wait, what? Why are we starting that fucking tradition? That's a dumb tradition."
It's funny to think of the people who are like, "All right, that's what I got." It's like, what? No, dude.
Yeah, wait till the room's
It's just a job, bro.
When the room's on fire, you're getting the fuck out.
Yeah, this is just a job.
Yeah.
You totally leave. That's when people are like, can't believe those soldiers deserted. I'd be like, dude, first
why
chance
were they
I
out there?
fucking got, dude.
Get out. I deserted day one of boot camp.
We're
dude.
fighting a battle in the woods. I'm hitting a left, dude.
Yeah.
Peace.
The crew was in the water for 4 days before being rescued. Many died from either overexposure, dehydrations, or from wounds suffered from the torpedo attacks. And, as said before, out of the 1,195 original crew members, only 316 of them survived. After years of mental health issues, Charles B. McVay, the captain of the USS Indianapolis, took his own life at the age of 70. World War II was the deadliest military conflict in history. Japan's losses were said to be around 2.5 million. Germany lost between 6 and 9 million of its own population. The United States lost over 400,000 soldiers. The Soviet Union's total losses ranged between 25 and 35 million. These numbers are all still very relative because nobody knows for sure, because Russia never reported any of their documents and many of its own civilization died during the war within Russia. China has the second biggest losses of World War II and their total losses amount to around 23 million. Estimates of total losses range between 70 and 85 million people. Alright guys, that was all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Now these conversations were all taken from Man and Shane's Secret Podcast, so if you liked it, I'll link everything down below. Please go and check them out and show them some love.